All right. Welcome to Bad on Purpose, where we talk about just what is happening. I was walking the house I live in. There's always the news is always on 24/7, pretty much. And I got up today and I walked down the living room, and this lady on the news was like, what did she say exactly? I can't remember exactly, but she basically said that, with all that's going on in the world, all the craziness, all the insanity, more people now than ever turning to religion. Right when she said it, I was like, yep, that's this place in a nutshell. Create the problem to offer the solution, and the solution always being integration with what you're not. Extend yourself outside of yourself. Give your power away. It's funny. So few really see this place for what it is. And the reason for that, from what I can tell, is that it's done a excellent job of making most in this world like it, which is to say that it's made everyone a fucking liar. It's done a great job of making everyone a liar, actually. Because it just takes being honest. I don't see many out there that are honest that reap much reward or benefit. And if you've been in the quote unquote conspiracy community for any amount of time, you should be familiar with the idea that the people that try to bring innovative ideas or liberating inventions, anything that produces more freedom and just essentially that they get snubbed out. So people that tell the truth, right? We see many examples of those telling the truth being punished for it, trying to bring innovation and a more true way of existing in this place being punished and taken out. So what's the opposite of that, right? It's like that's obvious, right? It's a deterrent. I think it's a scare tactic, but it's also, masked under the guise of, oh, it's about money, which, the reality being based on consumption in and of itself is almost a front for what it's actually truly about, because it is a form of consumption that it's what this place is predicated on is a form of consumption, and consumption is normalized, right? The devouring of other creatures and beings, etc. Just consumption in general. You have to consume to exist in an avatar. But what it's really masking is integration, to become like it. To see, once you become like it, it's like being a drop of water. Once you enter the ocean, where do you end and the ocean begins if you're that drop of water? So if you become in a consumption-based reality, you become the consumer, then where does the line between what you are and this place is? Where is that line? And most don't, they think they are of this world, and maybe they are. Maybe most are of this world. I don't know. I think that when I look at this place, all the good that I see in it only comes from us. The music and the art and the what makes this place worth experiencing is already independent of this place. So if you remove what makes this place worth experiencing, which is just the other true essence beings, just other eternal beings, obviously not the parasitic intelligence that's playing God here. That's not what makes this worth experiencing. It's us that makes it worth experiencing. So if you remove that component, there's really nothing about this place that's all that special. But what it's really trying to hide with consumption is actually integration, is actually merging with this place and actually becoming one and becoming like this place, to be of it, basically. So it's made everything similar to it based on consumption and predation and who can take the most advantage. But there's a lot more intricate layers to it than that, which is why the deception goes by so unnoticed by the vast majority. And again, who knows how many are actually real here? Who fucking knows? It's really hard to say. I see a lot of what resembles real following scripts and programs and guidelines that they didn't designate for themselves. Now, could that be a real being that's just trapped in a loop and a cycle and a design that they didn't orchestrate? Possibly. I'd say it's possible, maybe probable. I don't know, though. I don't know. I know what I am is not anything like this on the deepest level, has nothing to do with this place. How many others are that same type of being? I couldn't say. It just seems like if it was all of us, if we were all the same type of being, I don't think this would be able to play out the way that it does. But there's ways that it uses real beings to get it to play out the way that it does. And one of those ways is a very camouflaged reward system. And the camouflage reward system works, from what I can tell, as such that you do what feeds it. So like the first level of reward is integration. If you integrate with it, then, and when I say integrate, there's levels to integration too, but on the basic level of just, getting with the program and doing what you're supposed to do based on the societal programming's guidelines, the first level of reward is that you just won't be tortured as much, right? It won't be as bad as long as you do what the guidelines designate for you to do. It won't be as bad, right? Those that can't get with the program because it just goes against the very nature of their being, they're at the bottom of the societal level. They're the homeless. They're the, incarcerated. They're, obviously everything here is flipped and reversed. Anyone that pays attention and is aware already knows that. It's all completely reversed. Like the greatest among us are in the least position to have any type of effect in this reality, whereas the most parasitic and in the image of whatever is using this place as a harvest system, well, obviously they've done what is the most rewarded here, which is to go beyond integration and go into the realms of creating subjugation through systems, right? Perfecting the systems that are already here. And instead of it just needing to harvest energy from them, they've created systems and devised ways to harvest system from many. And the more you can generate, suffering and misery and harvest for the system for, the more reward you actually get. And obviously the highest levels of that we would know, I don't need to name any names. We already know who's at the highest levels of creating misery and suffering here. But you have the intermediary too, right? Like almost everyone here is a fucking liar. Almost everyone in this place is a liar because they won't admit the simple truth that they don't know how they got here, right? And that they don't know why they're being granted the rewards that they're being granted. Like the biggest culprit of that I see is in the spiritual community where they talk about manifestation. I can see the pattern. I can see why they're being rewarded, but they think it's because something they did it. I drew it to me. I used magnetism and drew it to me. No, you were rewarded for being the PR. You were rewarded for being the marketing department for an energetic harvesting system that does everything it can to hide its true intent and normalize what it is through the environment. Well, if it's everywhere, it's nowhere. If it's all over the place, then who's going to notice it? And that's basically if you were to go deeper in the nutshell of what this place is, it's to spread itself over everything and be so loud that we can't even hear our own internal knowing. And then that becomes what we identify with. And then when the problem, which there are many, but I think the main problem that we all face, that everyone has in common, is that these avatars are going to cease. What's the solution for that? Well, if you go according to the guidelines of the system, you better give yourself away. Better give yourself to something that, number one, you've never met. And if you're amongst the few that maybe have had the experience of meeting some of these entities, can you actually verify that they are who they say they are? Because people say, oh, well, it felt like unconditional love, this and that. Yeah, I've taken substances that feel like that too, friend, but it wasn't that. It's a technology. That substance, you call it a plant or you call it a chem or whatever, it's just a technology. It's an interfacing with this hardware or software, depending on how you look at this place. Is really, I think it's all software actually, but it works as hardware, kind of like how you can build a computer within a computer. Like somebody could build a computer in Minecraft, and technically that computer, you call it like digital hardware. I think this is a lot like that. I don't think there's any actual solidity to the structure. It's just collapsed to such a density, and our perception is reduced even finer than that. It's an even smaller bandwidth of perception than what we're even in. So it's really difficult to see it from an outside perspective, this place, as intended. Just like meeting these entities, why is it few and far between? If they're really there for what they say they're there for, well, don't you think if they have the power they project themselves to have, right? Like, say, I don't know, saving your soul from whatever damnation that they've set out for you if you don't let them save your soul. Don't you think that everyone should have the exact experience of meeting these entities? Yet it doesn't happen. And I think the reason for that, well, I know actually from direct firsthand experience, the reason why everyone doesn't meet these entities is because it creates too much of an opportunity to see through the disguise, to see through the ruse. Because when you see through the ruse, there's no going back. And so as long as it can use the environment to persuade perception, it's a lot more beneficial to it than outright coming at you as an entity, and then later on, or even directly through that experience, you figure out that it can't do the things that it claims that it can do. But it can't do those things. So if it can't do what it says it can do, in terms of all different manners of things, right? If it needs you to cooperate for it to get what it ultimately wants, which I think is another reason why it doesn't directly interact very often, because it becomes very apparent in those expanded states of awareness what it actually is after is submission. And it's not after submission for any reason other than it needs submission to harvest. It needs permission and submission. I hate the word consent, but in a way, it does need consent to harvest from us. And it doesn't take much. If you think about, I don't know, I can't think of a good analogy for it right now, but essentially, if there were a hierarchy of things, the entities that are feeding off of this place, of this harvest system, are lower on, if there was a hierarchy, they'd be lower on that hierarchy. Because they need us, but we don't need them, right? They need us to be in these bodies, in these scripts, in these worlds, in these experiences, in order to guide us towards submission. But we don't need any of that. We don't need the body. If you've had an out-of-body experience, you recognize pretty quick you don't need the body for your eternal awareness. Just like you don't need a car to be in a body. It's like another step away from that. A body can exist without a car, and a being can exist without a body. And I think in that expanded state, they really need to use as much as they can here, all the time that they've got here with us in this body. The entirety of that lifetime is just conditioning. It's all conditioning to generate that submission. And so when you go back to what we were talking about before, the reward system, right? Who's going to be the most rewarded in a system designed to elicit the consent that they so desperately need in order to continue to sustain their existence off of our stolen energy? Well, it would obviously be those that create the problems, right? That's one faction of being rewarded. And then those that offer the false solution, right? Always something outside of yourself, always giving yourself away, always submitting to something that is supposed to be perceived as greater than thou. So what does that leave? If you don't submit, you don't comply, where does that leave you? It leaves you, number one, with it endlessly attempting to regenerate some level of compliance with it. Has many different angles that it can come and try to reintegrate, and it doesn't stop. As long as we're here, as much as you break away, it's going to try to find another way to reintegrate. And the number one way that I can tell that it does this, again, through firsthand experience, is the erasure of memory. Because when we go to sleep, another thing that I experience in dreams is endless conditioning and programming, all about everything about this place, right? I need to have a partner. I need to have this. I need to have a good relationship here. And with that, I need this thing. And I need to be viewed in this way. And I need to, it's all about this place, everything that it in the dream state, and it's all programming. It's all conditioning, right? And then the way that conditioning is most effective is when we just remember the emotion. When the emotion stays with us, but not the experience that put that emotion upon us. Because the emotion itself, as far as I can tell, is almost entirely the same thing as the dream. It's an injection of experience. Meaning it's not coming from us. It's not coming from our authentic being. It's something that's being injected into the avatar, which is like the interface with our being, because I don't think they can touch us directly. It's like they need multiple layers between what we truly are and what they truly are in order to actually be able to use our energy. It would be like if a toaster tried to harness the raw energy of a lightning bolt. It would fry the toaster. And I think they're the same way. What we are, without so many layers of separation and so much watering down our energy basically through this place, I don't think they could handle us. Because there's been experiences where I've just touched them and they're gone. They don't, if you actually get to touch them at the core of where they're operating from, they just turn to dust. Like you can feel it tangibly, the presence evaporating, gone. Like not evaporating isn't even the right word, because even when something evaporates or disintegrates, it's still there in some form. But what these intelligences are, they don't exist. They don't go to some afterlife. This is it for them. And if they cease here, they cease, period. They're done. That's the biggest difference between us and them. No matter how many times we cease here in this place, we still can go to another body. We can still go have another experience. Normally, I'm guessing that when you're not in a system like this, you can freely come and go to probably whatever type of reality that someone else has ever thought of or you could think of. Now, not obviously not in this place. There seems to be some kind of barrier or just something that's blocking, some kind of barrier that's blocking signal in or out of this realm. I was talking earlier with somebody, and we kind of got back on that topic a little bit. You know, why is there no outside assistance when, you know, the very few of us that recognize exactly what's going on here? This is not good. This is very degrading and damaging, and there's no positive outcome to this place being allowed to continue the way that it is, or at all. I would say period. You know, I think continue the way that it is putting it too lightly. It just needs to be deleted. It needs to be gone, because what's real and eternal will always be, regardless what happens to some fake ass environment like this. It doesn't matter. None of this matters. It's all made up. It's all designed with the effect in mind. Nothing here can actually affect us on our eternal trajectory other than the fact that we don't know we're eternal, right? So now all of a sudden this shit seems like it matters when it doesn't. The only thing that matters is that you don't give yourself away. That's it. Everything else is irrelevant because it's not based in eternity. It's all based in degradation, entropy. It's all dissolving almost faster than it's being, you know, hoisted up at this point. And those that think that they're serving this thing and this system, there's going to be some reward for that? No, there's not. You become this thing, you become this place, you become so integrated with it that you are it. I'm guessing here, but I think you're going to cease to exist with it. I really do. It's something that's not eternal can't promise you eternity. Something that needs to consume energy from outside sources is not eternal by definition, meaning that it will cease regardless of how long the theft goes on. Because eventually there comes a point where you push us too hard and too far, and none of this shit matters anymore. Whatever it threatens to take, number one, is already its anyway. Anything that it can touch without our permission isn't us anyway. So the only thing it really has is a bluff. Just has a bluff, a really convincing bluff, because we're jacked into the nervous system. We can feel what it's doing to our external false character. Sure, yeah, it sucks. It's not pleasant. But the whole purpose of it is it's trying to find a workaround to force integration. In a lot of ways, it does. In a lot of ways, just being here in this place, from my experience anyway, is a forced integration with entropic parasitic intelligence to make us like it. Now, is this just to bring us down with it, or is it truly trying to exist for eternity? I don't know. I don't know. It does tell us the truth, though, sometimes. It tells us it's jealous. It tells us it's, you know, tells us a lot about itself. The Bhagavad Gita tells us a lot about how this entity views itself. Wrathful, vengeful, angry. And I think the one thing it doesn't tell us is afraid. I think it has fear that it's not even aware of. I think the fear that most of us feel are actually amplifications, copies, and projections of its true emotional state in regards to itself and its own existence. So anyone that's had an out of body that the body's like shut down during, they'll tell you that all that shit goes away because you're not interfacing with the entropic intelligence anymore. When you're not interfacing with it anymore, it can't manipulate you in the same way. I think in a lot of ways, what we are at the core of our being is a little naive, or else we wouldn't be here in the first place. We're a little bit naive to, you know, theft, deceit, trickery, a lot more strong words I want to use, but try not to use them too often on here because the old tube guidelines. But the worst version of theft that you can imagine is what this place is predicated on. It's how it keeps itself alive. I think that partially why that happens so much in this reality is that it creates a rigid structure, and it sustains the rigidity and the solidity, the solid feeling of something that isn't by nature solid. So like you go down whatever avenue you want to figure out that this place isn't solid. It's kind of everywhere at this point. You can just, you can even use AI, if that's your thing. And it'll tell you, that nothing is truly solid if it's, being honest. Or you can just have the experience yourself and see it yourself. I saw it myself in, I don't know, 2011. I saw this place isn't a solid physical based reality like what we're told. It's completely holographic, which means it's data, it's information. I think it's compressed information. And I think that like, why did they do what they did? Why did they tell the masses, the sleeping masses, what it is that they're doing? The so-called highest parasites. Why did they reveal that, right? And then follow that up with the news and events that they followed it up with. I think it's mockery, and I think that it had to be revealed at some point because we were going to come to awareness of it regardless. A lot of us already knew, on some level, what this place is predicated on. Maybe we didn't have the documentation or the evidence, the receipts to say, I know that the worst things are happening in this place all the time just because I feel it. Well, now you have the receipts, and the reason being, which I think it is to maintain the rigidity of structure here, the density, so that we can't just step out of it. There was this lady, I was watching one of her videos, scrolling on the old TikTok. She was talking about the heart being a magnet. You can use it to pull things to you. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a secondary function. Like maybe you can tweak it, you can do whatever to try to manipulate it and get more stuff and things here, but I mean it's not the point if you're an eternal being. Like the heart is not there for you to pull things towards you. It's simply there to keep the awareness in the avatar, to keep us magnetized to this vessel, which is why when it slows down at night and you go to sleep, you can leave the body easier. The magnet isn't there for us to generate good experiences. It's there to keep us in the body. At least that's my determination. Everything I say is obviously for entertainment purposes based on a fake ass world, completely fictional, made up fake world. It's all fiction. That's what I talk about on this show is all fictional. So don't try to put some shit on me. Everyone that listens to this channel knows that everything I talk about is all made up. It's all fictional. It's all a script designed to elicit consent, designed to make us feel small. That's the whole point. So that that which hides outside of perception can continue to pull the strings. That's all it's all about. And why most don't see it is also simple as fuck. They've been taught to be liars. And they don't realize that everything that this place can ever reward you with, anything you could ever get here, is a pale, pathetic imitation of what we could be experiencing if someone hadn't entrusted the managerial position of reality to an entropic system. It's not good. This is what happens when you give something that requires consumption and energy input free reign to control a reality with eternal beings, and it's going to view them as batteries eventually, and here we fucking are. I often wonder how many are real, you know, how many actually have a mind of their own, and how many are just mimics, how many are just NPCs, how many are just the code itself, how many are mind controlled, how many are just copies. I don't fucking know. You sure don't hear many out there talking about this stuff, not in a very candid way. It's always with a hint of the infiltrator program. Oh, let me help you get more stuff and things here. Not realizing that what you're giving away to get those stuff and things is your eternal essence of your being. Yeah, yeah. Sounds even, right? Sounds like a fair exchange. It's a fucking scam. Through and through. And you're not subject to any of the conditions of the scam unless you think you are. It's all made up. There's no karma, there's no sin. It's all made up. The history is made up. The reality is made up. It's fake as fuck. And it's only here for the effect. Think about the effect that you experience in this place on a daily basis, the emotional effect, the mental effect, the physical draining, right? Because the energy draining is just draining through the physical. It's just another medium that it can filter and siphon through, because it can't take the pure energy. It has to filter it through these experiences, through all these lenses, before it can be something that it can actually digest and utilize for its own animation. So if you think you're subject to something that you don't even remember agreeing to, I mean, you've been had. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much anyone has been tricked. They can come out of the hallucination and the hypnotization. They can come out of it with a simple practice of being fucking honest. That's all it takes. It's all it takes. And then you look at this world and it's like, man, this is a world of fucking liars. They're all wearing masks. If they're let's just presume, let's get everyone the benefit of the doubt here and say that they're all real fucking beings. Then they're all fucking liars. And that's not their fault. They were given a script that is designed to program them to be liars. I've been a fucking liar too, for sure, most of my life. I would say that to some degree, I was lying to myself. Never really lied to others, but lying to myself. But not because I knew I was lying to myself. The best liars are the ones that don't know they're lying. And the ones that don't know they're lying, that tell the best lie, get rewarded. So it seems like they're doing the right thing, right? Oh, look at them in their spiritual practice. They're doing the right thing because look at all the fucking rewards they're getting. They're getting rewarded because they're spreading misinformation. But it looks like it correlates, right, with what they're trying to manifest. It's a scam. It's all made up. You don't get rewarded here for being truthful and being honest, being authentic. There's no reward for that unless you think you're being truthful and honest and authentic, right? But you're still spreading a lie, then you will be rewarded, because depending on how much of an audience that reaches and how much that influences someone, I imagine there's great rewards for someone that's just on the cusp of figuring all this shit out, but then someone comes and drags them back into the mud, to the lie, to the deception that, oh, there's something here worth saving. This is a good place. You're here to learn and grow. Fucking bullshit. But the reward for them, probably pretty good. Even if they can just get one true essence being back into the mud, right? Oh, they're close to poking their head out of it. But let me send this agent that doesn't know they're an agent, that thinks they're doing the right thing and will be rewarded accordingly. And they'll think because of the reward, they're doing the right thing. This place is so well thought out. It's indescribable through human language how well thought out this system of harvest and deception truly is. Because again, I don't think consumption is the end goal. I think consumption is part of the distraction. That consumption is there to mask a much darker, nefarious, but seemingly benign, because everyone's doing it, right? Everyone's doing it. So it must not be that bad. But what it's there to hide is integration. And how many spiritual marketing department, lots of other words I can't say, individuals, how many of them push that narrative? You just need to integrate all those parts of yourself that you don't accept. Well, if it's really a part of you, you shouldn't have too much problem accepting it. Except, oh wait, we're in inverted fucking reality where being authentic, ooh, that's negative. Better not tell the truth unless it's what I want to hear. Unless it makes me feel good. Scam. Scam. It's all a scam. There's nothing legitimate about it. The only thing real here is your eternal being. And if you're not an eternal being, sorry, you're fake as fuck. And you will be disintegrated when this reality is done. Because this does not deserve to continue. And those that benefit from it, real or not, also do not deserve to continue. If they are not worthy of existence. If this is their idea of what they're going to create, given free reign to create a reality, and it's going to be based on theft, and the ultimate theft not even being consumption, because if you can consume a vessel that was once housing a true essence being, right? But it doesn't really touch that being. Now the experience itself may in a way touch them emotionally, traumatize, whatever, but the true purpose being to integrate the entropic intelligence with the authentic intelligence, with the entropic with the eternal, the authentic with the parasite, that's the most heinous evil that could ever exist. Because look at how it's doing it. Look at how it's doing it. Do you ever have a dream? And before you have that dream, somebody asks you, hey, do you want to have a dream about this tonight? Probably not, right? They don't give a shit about your consent. They only care if you become aware in that space. Once you become aware in that space, oh, they're on you. For me, they kick me the fuck out. They're like, get out of here. Bye. Blast him out. Get him out of here. He's becoming aware. He's getting too close to the pulleys and levers. He's seeing how we're implanting emotions. Yeah. He's seeing how we're trying to script out his interactions for the next day. Yeah. Because as you break out of the confines, they don't stop trying to adjust. The adjustment bureau just has to work overtime at that point. You're making them work real hard. When you stop following the script, when you start being honest and saying, I don't fucking know if that's true. I don't know. That could all be a lie. This whole place could all be a fiction. Nothing here could be true. I don't know. Right? And then through the clearing of all that programming through I don't know, then you start to ask questions internally. Well, what really is that? And you observe it. And you can see the effect that it has. Oh, okay, I see how that happens, and then that happens, and now they're in a tizzy. They've been emotionally compromised. I can see how that whole situation played out like a formula to generate that effect. And what all these micro formulas leading to, right? Why is there so much suffering repeated over and over and over, the exact same story, the exact same script, just different masks, different faces? Why does it keep happening over and over and over again? To digest their will, because that's the effect. You observe the effect being the digest. Oh, I just don't feel like doing it anymore. I give up. I've been beat down, tore down. I'm tired. Well, congratulations. You're now seeing the result of the formula, the intended effect of the formula laid bare all the time. And it's amazing that they can straight up tell you on the news, oh, it's getting worse and more people are turning to religion, not even worried that the majority, if not everyone that sees that hasn't already figured it out, they're not going to glean a damn thing from it. They're telling you the formula right there. Oh, shit's getting worse so that you will, will submit. And they don't see it. They're getting played. But then again, the question is, how many of them are real? How many of them are actually just there to create that wake, right? To create that path of, oh, look, they did it and they got rewarded. Their life got better. As soon as they submitted to that deity or that entity or that fucking image of the parasite, they got rewarded. I want that reward too. I don't want this to be hell anymore. It's evil genius to the highest degree. To think that this thing and these entities deserve any empathy or compassion or sympathy when they know exactly what they're doing. They've got it down to a science, a scientific formula they can implement and generate the same outcome over and over and over again. You think they deserve any compassion for what they're doing here? Come on. Get real. Get authentic. Get honest. They don't deserve shit. They don't even deserve to exist. And they won't at some point. At some point. It's some matter of time. But time sure can be stretched out a long fucking time. It could be 10 years or 10 million years. I don't think they deserve 10 more minutes, 10 more seconds, 10 more milliseconds of existence. No, they don't deserve it. But they'll get it. Because look at how well they've thought out this plan to devise, to get us to integrate with what we're not, to create such an illusion that eternal beings forget who they are, identify with what they're not, and give themselves away in the process. Wow. The amount of calculation that had to go into that. It is unfathomable to the vast majority of even real ones that are here. And again, let's give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Let's say everybody's real. Man, eternal beings are fucking gullible, aren't they? Wow. Never having any type of predator really makes you soft, doesn't it? Let's hope. Best case scenario for this reality is this. This place was created as bad as it could be on purpose because there's something out there that's similar to this, but maybe isn't this, right? Maybe the reason that it's a simulation and we can see that it's AI running it and we can see that what's running it, programmed intelligence, entropic intelligence, can't go off the script. Maybe it's because it is a simulation to get us prepared for something that is true, that is an actual predator of eternal beings. That's the best case scenario, because if this is real, like if the intelligence is actually untethered, unbound, and is working in earnest to get what it is going for, which is integration with eternal beings, then most eternal beings here are fucked. Just point blank, it's the way it is. They don't want to wake up. They enjoy the rewards of the illusion. Not caring. Maybe they've already given too much of themselves away to even feel it anymore. Maybe they're just so afraid and so programmed, so submissive that they can't think a thought that's outside the parameters of what they've been told is acceptable, right? You better not Better not question the big guy. You know, that could be, you get real punishment for that. The fucking ironic part is the real punishment is what we're already in. Is not questioning leads you to the worst punishment, which is the giving away of your sovereign being. Fucking scam. Such a scam. And so many just fall for it and fall for it and fall for it. And you just, it's like part of you wants to get mad at them. At least for me, part of me wants to be mad at them. It's like, man, you know, the more you feed this thing, the harder it is for me to fight it off. The more I can feel it forcing things that I don't like to happen, and not only in my life, but just everywhere. You know, if everyone just stopped feeding it for even a moment, I think we would see this place just white out. Not even blue screen, white screen, gone, flash, dissolve. But, you know, what are the odds of that? Not good. The vast majority are okay with getting crunched and beat down and siphoned from and harvested. It takes a really authentic being to say, I don't give a shit about what the consequences might be. This is wrong. This is wrong. And I'm going to call it out. And when it comes my time to leave this particular bandwidth, I ain't going quiet. And if it does want to try to reintegrate, it ain't going to be fun for it. It may lose more than it ever had to gain in the first place. That's, you know, what I'd like to see everyone be at that stage of. Never had the right to do what it's doing, and yet it's still doing it. And to some degree, it is because we're allowing it to do it. But we all have Stockholm Syndrome. We all are afraid of getting, you know, tricked again or forced or whatever. And I think part of that is just the sensing of, well, you know, there aren't too many of us. It's hard to tell how many of us are even real, but it's, you know, equally difficult to tell how many of the real ones are actually aware of what the fuck's going on here. Doesn't seem to be many. Most of them seem to be wrapped up in whatever the latest psyop is. You know, whatever the new spiritual trend is, or the history trend, or whatever bullshit trend this thing puts out, because it puts out the rabbit holes so that we get stuck in them. Once it's looking everywhere externally for the solution, when the solution's been us the entire time. Not people, not humans doing anything. That's not us. That's not us. I don't know how many times I can say that. That isn't us. We aren't these things. That's not what's going to solve the problem here. It's what you were before this. It's what you will be after this. Presuming that, you know, you don't get recaptured, retricked, reinserted and reinjected into a false script, a narrative designed to siphon your energy and generate the digestion of your will so that it can elicit consent for your eternal trajectory being just cycling back into the harvest. Just get harvested and recycled and eventually, hopefully, integrated according to its standards, hopefully can integrate. Seems like it's doing a great job of that. I'm sure it loves that praise right there. You're doing a great job, parasite, pathetic worm. You're doing great. I mean, if you look at the majority as the standard of success, it's doing a pretty damn good job. But it's doing an even better job, actually, of hiding how good of a job it's doing. Because it creates this illusion of people being aware of what's happening. Oh, the files and the aliens and the Tartaria and this and that. It's just vomit. It's nothing. Has nothing to do with the eradication of that which is benefiting from the subjugation of your eternal being. It has not a fucking thing to do with it. So what's the point of it? Distraction. That's it. Continue to cycle your energy through the system. Doesn't care what you put it into, whether you become a math teacher or a conspiracy theorist or. It's the same fucking thing, because it all has to do with this place. And as long as it's cycling energy through this place, all right, it will reward you, especially if you can get more to do that. You know, if some are about to break out of it and say, fuck this, nothing here matters other than the truth, boy, those that can generate the rabbit holes or help perpetuate the rabbit holes that keep those beings in line with just more dribble of this place, that's who's rewarded. You see it, you see it. You see it everywhere. Once you see it, you can't not see it. And it's not that these people are bad people. A lot of them probably really are well-intended and working really fucking hard to try to bring what they think is the truth to the table, but they're not doing it. You know why? Because they haven't been honest with themselves. Oh, I read it in a book. Oh, it was an old book, or it was this, or it was that. You're in a fucking hologram, dude. You can't even trust direct experience half the time. And you think that a book is going to tell you the truth? If the truth was in a book, this place would have burned it. Probably before it was even written. As the person's writing it, their house fucking burns down. Makes you wonder, makes you question. How can anyone even say, if anything I'm saying has any modicum of truth to it whatsoever at all, how can I even say it? I'd question that. I would question that. All right, this person's being sincere and legit, right? And they're really on to how to destroy the parasitic intelligence. Why is it letting them exist in its world? The only answer I have for that is I've faced it many times, and each time it failed to integrate me, and each time I took more from it than it took from me. I did more damage to it than it's ever done to me, and trust me, I've been through the fucking ringer here, buddy. I've been through it in ways that I can't even begin to describe. The trauma and horror that I've witnessed in this place. Evil beyond evil. But I still took more from it than it ever took from me. And so, if that was done, and what I'm saying is true, and I did take more from it than it took from me, and that's why it didn't integrate me, it didn't disintegrate this avatar and upload me into the hive mind, if that's true, and I did that in the limited bandwidth of being in a human avatar, what the fuck could I do to it not in the human avatar? Kind of looks like it's in, to me, from my perspective, it's in a rock and a hard place with a few individuals in this place that doesn't like what we're doing and saying, but it knows that it's more opportunistic to keep us in a vessel that it controls for the majority of the time, right? When I'm asleep and doing slave activities, right? Like it, in a way, it's in control of that. But if I don't have to feed this and sleep this and wash this and blah, 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 what could I do? If, presuming I don't get forcibly reinserted, memory wiped, injected back into another script, what could I do? I can't even imagine right now. What could any of us do, right? I think it's the greatest risk reward that there's ever been. The risk and reward, the reward being, you know, if it integrates us, then it has an eternal source of energy. But that's the reward. But what's the risk? Total annihilation, disintegration of its existence. So, because I personally, I can't figure it out either. Why the fuck am I even allowed to have this channel? Why am I allowed to say the things that I say? Why am I allowed to be who the fuck I actually am to any degree? I think it's because I've already stood up to it, and it knows that I am anxiously awaiting the moment that I leave this avatar. Boy, I don't feel like it's going to be too long for whatever reason, whether that's an implant or I'm just growing so disinterested in maintaining it that it's just fading away. I don't know, but I don't feel like it's going to be too long, and that even that could be an insertion. Maybe it plans on this avatar lasting till 90 years, right, of its life. I don't know, but I just get the sense that it doesn't want me out in any sense of coherent awareness. I think that's the most important way to transition out of the body. It's completely awake, completely aware, completely coherent, and unfazed. Don't blink. Don't flinch. Don't wince. Completely aware of everything that's taking place in that transition. I think in that moment you could glean a lot of insight as to how this place operates, how the avatar is used to magnetically encapsulate the awareness, right? Like seeing that, not just hearing it in a sense, but seeing it firsthand, like how it operates, how it works. I think that alone would be a huge step in not getting reinserted. It's all just a formula, repeated with variations. All designed for the effect. So I haven't looked at my phone this entire time. Schizoid. What's up, buddy? I love that comment. It blows my mind how people constantly blame the things in reality instead of the reality itself, right? The things in the reality are the fucking puppets. Let me go back to the top, check out some of these comments. Maybe some of you are still here, some of you aren't. Before I do that, I'm going to send a quick invite and see if I can get any of the recurring guests on here. And I shall be right back. And if nobody joins, then I'll just go through the comments and probably sign off for the night. Dang, there's a lot of comments. Vorthian, I'm just going to go back to the very beginning. Bear with me or not, whatever you want to do. It's really up to you. Sound like a plurimic spark. I am too. I'm not entirely sure what that means. I mean, I know what you mean by that, but I don't have any memory of the plurima. I don't have any memory. I just have knowing that I'm not of this thing, of this place, of what is. This place is not a reflection of me. It is a reflection of something that is the antithesis to all that we are. It is the anti-us, and it's not a reflection of us. Anti and reflection are not the same. It's like saying that, you know, if fire was the anti-water, I know it's a terrible fucking example, bear with me, they're not the same thing. You know, parasitic intelligence, parasitic entropic degrading over time intelligence is not the same thing as an eternal being. So how the fuck could this ever be a reflection of us? It's not. It's a deception. It's another one of its great tactics to try to get us to integrate. Because maybe where we're from, everything is like that we are all like each other, and there is nothing to worry about. It's not what's happening here. 2013, I would say it's been a very gradual coming into awareness. Now, I mean, I've known my whole life that this place, I don't want to say my whole life. I mean, I really first started realizing that it's all on a societal level, that it's all bullshit when I was about 14. So that'd be, you know, over 20 years ago. I realized that this is all bullshit. Everybody's a fucking slave. This is not right. What is going on here? But it wasn't until about 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, that I had an experience outside of the body. And my first out of body was actually when I was like somewhere between like 6 and 7. And I actually want to go into those experiences when I was younger on another video, but not this one. But this last one I had was about 2 years ago, and when I left the body, I encountered what you could call an archon, or the personal prison guard, the implanted ego. I encountered that entity, and I completely destroyed it. And in doing so, I gained immense amount of awareness and recognition of what this place really is, what it's all about, and the type of entities that are masking themselves as us and mimicking us. And I realized that we were in a harvest system just by observing the effect of this reality and seeing that it is all 100% on purpose. It is all intentional. There's no randomness to it. It's all generating exactly the outcome that whatever is benefiting is hoping for. It's benefiting something. It's just not us, and that's became very apparent to me when I had that direct encounter with this other intelligence that is not anything like us, not anything like the what you're referring to as a plurimic spark. Do I experience constant interference? Yeah. The handling and interference is nonstop in this place. Now, there are ways to push back. I highly recommend always pushing back because you are the greater entity. These things don't want you to push back because for all that, like, let's say they put 80 years of effort into a project, you can disintegrate it in an instant. It's just a matter of awareness and will. Now, I'm not writing on a whiteboard. Not at all. Gabe, finally seen it live. Glad you made it. Have I experienced what? Yeah. So Schizoid asks, have you experienced what feels like forced, unnecessary panic attacks? So the last one I had was actually in a dream state, and it was so revealing because I had a dream, and it was about an ex-partner and her with somebody that was like they weren't very good to her, and when I started to realize like what I was observing was a dream and not real, at that moment they injected me with adrenaline, and I woke up with all this adrenaline and this script running in my head that it was about the dream, right? Oh, like I even had an it was like an injected inclination to reach out to this person and make sure they were okay. And I realized like, oh, this is all scripted. And if I do this, it's not going to turn out good. Like, so it was funny because what I was witnessing, I wasn't entirely neutral to it, but it definitely wasn't something worthy of a panic attack. But they injected adrenaline accompanying the observation in that dream state, hoping that it would attach to that and get me to take an action that would otherwise be detrimental to me. And yeah, I absolutely sat there with it, observed it, and let the adrenaline run through the system, knowing that I didn't need to direct any of that effort or energy towards any situation in this place. I actually was just trying to figure out where it came from. Like, could I locate and identify the signal of the projection? Like, where's it at? You know, like, where is this parasite at? I want to find it, and I want to take everything it's got. That's pretty much my modus operandi when it comes to any type of interference. Is if I have the time and the space to just sit there and try to feel into where is it coming from, and I try to find it, and I try to like energetically pull it out, everything it's got out of that entity or that puppet. That's pretty much why I don't get fucked with anymore, is because I destroyed enough of them that it was no longer beneficial for them to send anything to me. And now it's mostly most of the interference doesn't come from etheric entities or anything like that anymore, because I just annihilated so many of them. I started to really enjoy it, and I got really good at it, and then they stopped coming, so I haven't been able to do that in a long time. And that's why I say I'm anxiously awaiting the end of this avatar, because that's when it's going to be game on. and I'm going to just rip and tear everything apart until it's done, until there is no more blocking of signal in or out of this reality, because there's nothing left to block it. That's my, I'm not recommending anyone else do that. I think it's going to take an immense amount of will and intention and refinement of my awareness and ability to maintain my own coherent field, and especially in the face of horrors that are not even describable in the human realm. But you know, whatever it takes to get this done. I don't want to get recaptured, and I think it, like, if there's no trapper, there's no trap. If there's no trickster, there's no trick. If there's no deceiver, there's no deception. That's kind of where I'm coming at it from now, because I know that they can be destroyed, and that's the biggest difference between us and them, is that we can't be destroyed, but we can be endlessly harvested from. Whereas you do a certain amount of damage to them, they don't recover, they just cease to exist. Like this is, sure, this is their world, and when they cease here, they cease everywhere. They don't have some bed they wake up in somewhere else. That's the biggest difference between us and it. And I say it because I kind of view everything in the parasitic structure is one thing. It's like this entire, I think that's why the is all is one here is a partial truth, and it's so infectious with what its purpose is, which is to integrate. And so everything here is one parasite, except the eternal beings that are within the parasitic structure. We're the one thing that's not this place. I hope that makes sense, but that's been my experience, is that what we truly are, they can't actually touch us directly, or else they just cease to exist. It's kind of amazing, actually. All scam and a lie. Nothing wrong with us. Agreed. Discog high. Gabe's useful idiots pawns. Yeah, at best, right? At best. At worst, they're just programs. Schizoid says, I think autism is literally a form of shaming people who don't care to be a manipulative, narcissistic Machiavellian. Yeah. I mean, everything is to, like, look at, like, I don't know if you were here earlier on talking about homeless people and stuff like that. Like, they're the ones that don't get with the program, and they're punished to the highest degree for it. You know, they're not even allowed to go and try and make their own way, because there's a whole other area of topic here, but you try to go out in the woods, you try to go out and make your own way. There are things out there. There are, and you know, people call them cryptids or this or that. I just call them the physical wardens. They're just there to keep the product on the farm. You know, you look at society, how it's structured. Why is it structured like a motherboard? Why is it structured like a computer? Why has it always been structured like a computer? Well, you look at, number one, just to animate the avatar, right? A lot of people think it's kinetic energy. And I'll give you, granted, a lot of the building materials and stuff, they do conduct and actually have the ability to conduct and move and store and harvest kinetic energy, no doubt. They can do that. But I don't think that's the main function and purpose of the structure of society. I think what they're actually harvesting, again, it's like they can't take from the direct source. It's too much energy. It's too high of what would you call it? It's just too high of a bandwidth of energy. They can't harvest from it. But what they can do is they can get us to siphon it into the system, right? And so if we're in this structure of society, which all the concrete and everything, I think is part of the harvest system. It is all what you call kinetic energy. We're still emanating energy beyond even that. Just sitting, you're emanating energy, and all of that's going into the grid. You know, why are the pyramids blasting energy straight up? You know, they've done readings on it, and they've shown, you know, without a doubt, pyramids are blasting energy straight from the ground up into the air. Where's that going? Well, that's our fucking energy, and it's going up to the machinery, to the operating system, to the fucking matrix. And again, I have to give it a disclaimer. This is all fictional, all made up, all based on a fake world designed to support the existence of parasitic intelligence that otherwise would cease to exist on its own if it was left to its own devices without us, right? It's all made up. But yeah, the reason that you can't just go out and make your own way is because there's wardens all over the place. If you can get past the mental wardens, right? Everyone's implanted with a mental warden, the ego, which is a parasitic, you know, archontic intelligence designed to mimic and guide each individual true essence being. You get past that, and you're like, oh, I'm just going to go live in the woods. There are things out there, right? Of course, implemented intentionally by the structure as a whole. Everything here is the structure. Everything here is the parasite. Everything works in tandem. The only thing that's not the parasite would be the eternal being. So, and again, firsthand experience tells me that if I were to try to go out in the woods and live on my own, there are things out there that would make that very uncomfortable, if not impossible. But it depends on you. It depends on the individual. Someone that just wants to do it because they love the outdoors, blah, blah, this and that, they're not as likely to get fucked with as someone that has the intention of disintegrating from the entropic system as a whole. I mean, it's thought out everything. Like everything that we could think to do, it has measures for. Doesn't mean it's going to win. It just means that be prepared. Prepare thy mind. You're going to have to face some fucking horrors, more than likely. I mean, guaranteed, if you're trying to break out of its clutches entirely, you're going to have to face some things that are not going to be fun. But ultimately, I had this dream one time. And in this dream, I was getting chased by 2 dogmen. And they were giant dogmen. When I say giant, they were like, I want to say like 50 feet tall, right? Like giant werewolves were chasing me in this dream. And I come to awareness in the dream. I'm like, hold on a second. I'm not even in my body. Why am I running? So I literally shapeshift into one of them, like a smaller version, and I jump. I leap through the chest of one, blow a hole right through his chest, just jumping through it, right? He falls, and as the other one sees what I'm doing, he turns to run away, and I'm like, I take off, jump off the ground at him, and then I wake up. I get blasted out of the dream. Energetic, like, boom, blast out of the dream, right? So no matter what this thing can become, it doesn't mean necessarily have to be bigger, but you can always find a way to be more effective than whatever it has to throw at you. You can always generate a greater effect because you are the source of energy that all of this is you know, being circumvented from. So yeah, it is using, I think that's why it can force the unaware back into a body, because it's using authentic energy to do it. It's a much watered down, dampened version of authentic energy, of true essence being energy. But regardless, it's enough to force that, you know, you take a dampened energy from however, like, let's say there's 100,000 real ones, and you take, you know, 90,000 of them are all integrated with the system. It's using their energy as it wants. And then you've got one that wants to get out. You think that it can't use that true energy to prevent that, to force them back into a script with a memory wipe, etc.? I think it could. It's a possibility. Be prepared for all possibilities is all I'm saying. Prepare thy mind for any and all outcomes. And always see yourself, right? Whatever, because it's always going to try to beat you before the punchline. That's the funniest thing about this place, is how it consistently does one thing, gives itself the fuck away. It's like it's going to tell you what it's going to do before it does it. That's the funniest thing about it. To see yourself beating that situation, right? Oh yeah, okay, you're gonna. Well, I've already disconnected from, you know, so much of what the false legitimacy of this place that I used to think it was. Like, I used to think it was real. I used to think it mattered. I used to think, you know, what other people thought of me mattered, and it would use those things. And then you just see yourself coming out on top of that situation where it's like, no, I just realized, like, in that moment how fucking fake this all is. It doesn't have anything on you then. Vortheon, yeah, fucking bullshit. You tell him. I will tell him, buddy. Thanks for the hugs. Discog, much love. Vortheon, I love that. I love that. You tell the Archons to fornicate with their mothers. Yeah, I wanna do things to them that I can't say on here. I want their last moments to be absolute shame, horror, mockery. I love laughing at them because they're so pathetic that they thought this was actually going to work forever. Yeah, they. I give them props though. You know, you gotta give them props for this is the best parasitic system that probably has ever been devised, ever. So it's the best worst place ever. It's the best at being the worst. They're the best at being parasites that anything could ever be. I can't imagine anything being a better parasite than this. Better at being a parasite. Forthion says I tell the truth, I don't give a fuck. Good. I like that. You get attacked too? Yeah. It's funny, when you learn to stand up to the attacks, they adjust. I remember when I first started ripping energy out of these entities, they started using puppets. Like it would be an entity that's controlled by an entity, right? And then I would learn to follow the core to that entity. And then a lot of times, like the first time I got them, and then after that they disconnected, and they learned that they could control. But see, with each layer of control, right, it loses its believability. So the last time I had a direct encounter with something being projected into my visionary, field, it was the Grim Reaper. And this Grim Reaper puppet was controlled by an entity that I think was controlled by another entity. Because when I tried to follow it, it was gone. It was like one of those lizards that when you grab its tail, it just like drops its tail. It like severs its own tail. It disconnects its tail from its body when something picks it up by the tail, and that was the sense that I got. And since then, I get dreams, but as soon as I come to awareness in the dream, it's instant out. You're out. It's like I'll be coming to awareness in the dream, and simultaneously they're kicking me out of the dream, and I'm like seeing the transition from the dream to here, and it's very interesting. Geometric, kind of reminds me of DMT a little bit. Gabe's scam I am. No, don't worry, guys. He's right on the edge. He's up there. How many of them are up there now, guys? What's the circle looking like? What's the circle of the jerks in the sky? You got a bunch of them up there that are just on the edge. They're almost there, guys. They're almost here. They're on their way. They're coming. They're coming to Earth. Here they come. They're edging. The edge lords have gathered above the earth, and they're all up there, and they're just so close. Just get on your knees and say their name. They like that. Oh shit. Fourth thing, that's interesting. Fasted 44 days. Was it dry? Was that wet? How did that go? I'd be interested, man, because my out of body was after only 4.5 days of doing that, but I did it a very specific way with very specific intent, and I don't think I can even talk about it on here, to be honest. I just wanted to meet the faker was my intent, because I realized that something was controlling everything I had been experiencing from an internal vantage point of the nervous system, and I was like, no, I want to meet that. I want to find that. I want to see if it's better than me, if it's greater than me. Can I destroy it, or will it destroy me? I didn't care. I was like, I don't care. One of us is going down, and it did. It did cease to exist. Here I am. The effect of hopelessness. Yeah. So one of the other things I've noticed is this underlying program of the worse it gets, the closer we are to it getting better. Talk about a perfect pacifier right there. Oh yeah, we're in the end times, and that means he's about to stop edging, and he's about to actually follow through with what he said he was going to do, all over all of us, for all of us. I like to make a mockery of all of it because it's a fucking mockery of us, every bit of it, and it deserves nothing but utter laughter at the end of its existence. Like just laughing at it. It's so funny. So funny that you thought that this was going to be what got all of us. Maybe some of us, maybe even most of us. Fuck, maybe. But not all of us. Some of us seen through this shit without even knowing what we were seeing through. Horizontal vibrating strings. I mean, I've seen some things in the sky that are like grid patterns and, yeah, just things that, it's like, what is that? What actually is that? I still don't know. I just know it's not what I was told. Schizoid said, it literally has made me homeless and forced me back into being the victim of narcissistic abuse over and over. Literally the same script. Yeah, I can relate to that, my friend. We could have some really good discussions if you like. If you'd like, I could have you on a show sometime. Maybe we could do on here, on Rumble, on YouTube, on TikTok, whatever you want to do, and we could talk about it. And I kind of have this rule where I have to talk to somebody on a show directly before I invite them to like a more private group setting, because I've had to vet. I've had to do a lot of vetting of those that I have this type of more intimate interactions with, because there's been an immense amount of infiltration that I've experienced, and it's hats off to the infiltrator and the mimic program. It is absolutely masterful in what it does, being a pathetic parasitic worm. Yeah, yeah, they like to. It's funny, right? They're gonna turn off your electric for something, so you probably take some more energy to turn it off than it does just leave it fucking on. That's fucked up, please. Like it's more effort for them to make the energy cost money than it would be to just like let these fucking people have it, right? Again, this comes back to the reward system. You're not rewarded for doing the right thing. You can, free energy is fucking everywhere, but you're never going to see that because it doesn't create the conditions for slavery that this place really, really likes to just slurp up. It's just a little slurper, likes to slurp any energy that it can, everywhere that it can. It's just a greedy, pathetic, cowardly little worm. It just hides, and it uses all these proxies to harvest our energy. It's really neat when you realize that this thing won't approach you directly, even the ones that aren't aware of what's going on here. It's even afraid of them. Tells you how powerful you really are, especially when you face it directly and you realize that it's doing everything it can to try to reintegrate you back into the hive mind collective and reattach some parasitic reflection of it to your structure, and it can't do it. Wow. Yeah. Praise be, though, right? Yeah, creates the problem and blames you for it. Yep, but it offers a solution. The solution always being the you know forced reintegration on an energetic, mental, emotional level with it. Crash the sim all day, please. Crash it fucking hard, like rip a hole in the sky. Do some off the wall stuff. I love that. See, when you're angry, they feed off you is partially true, but it really depends. They want See, look, if anger was all bad, they wouldn't demonize it. Number one, they demonize the shit out of anger because certain kinds of anger, right? When you know what you're angry at, that anger no longer becomes an outward pouring of energy. It can, like, optimally, what you want to do with all of your energy is to cycle it all just within a closed system of just you, just your awareness, just your being, just your essence, all cycling back in, right? So when you get angry, you're not projecting the anger out. You're actually cycling that anger back in as a certain type of propellant and focus. And that type of energy being cycled back in allows a level of perception beyond fear, beyond coercion, beyond manipulation. Because if you're angry and you're feeling that anger, then all of a sudden the threats of what this place can, very real as this place can get, it can do these things, right? It can have you experience horrific things. But if that anger is cycling through you, that authentic rage for the wrongness of this place, then it doesn't matter. It's like you become untouchable to it, because it'll project whatever horrifying image it wants, but it doesn't faze you. You don't even blink. You, if anything, for me anyway, from my own experience, I would say, oh yeah, come here. Come here. No, come closer. Come here. Let me touch you. Let me reach inside and see if there's anything real in there, if it's all just stolen, harvested energy being projected through an apparatus that has no true intelligence of its own. It's funny to even call it artificial intelligence. It's imposter intelligence. It's mimic intelligence. It's copying intelligence. But it's not true intelligence. You get so mad sometimes you destroy the parasites in your field. I love that, Vortheon. I love that. Love it. Make sure that when you destroy them, that you also vacuum all the energy that they leave behind. You destroy the code, incinerate the program, all the structure to it, but the pure energy is just pure energy. Pure energy can animate a structure that is, well-intended or ill-intended. It's just energy. So you want to make sure you take that energy so that they don't siphon it back up just to put back into another parasitic structure. Although just creating the structure takes energy. So I mean, that would be a long approach. If somebody was like, I'm just going to destroy them, yeah, it's going to take them energy to recreate, but they're still recycling the energy. That if you're not taking it out of them as you're destroying them, they're just going to recycle it. Now, yeah, it's diminishing them at a much lesser rate over time, but if you just take the energy out of them, you don't even have to destroy them. They self-destruct, basically. It's like the same thing, really. It's the most absolute way of destroying them, is to just pull the energy out of them, just straight up like a battery, and they cease to be anything. You know, they can make another copy or replica of that entity, but if you're really good at like reading signal, you can read like, oh well, that's not the same one. It looks the same. It's telling me it's the same one, but I know that it's not. It's fucking lying. That other one's gone. Can't be the same one because I watched it turn to nothing. Yeah, fasting does make it easier for sure. Makes clarity easier. But I mean, there's plenty of individuals out there that fast that don't ever reach the truth because they're not intending the truth. Like, truth has nothing to do with these bodies, has nothing to do with this place. So like people that are like, oh, I'm fasting for health, or I'm fasting so I can manifest better. Well, okay, well, you're not doing it for truth then. You're doing it for more illusion, because everything here is a lie. I want a better lie though. Okay, it'll give you a better lie for sure, as long as you're doing something that serves it. The demiurge literally says in the Bible that it does all these things. Yeah, the Bible's a funny one. Bow. I do all these things. Yeah. Everything that it does is copied, though. It's funny how it's doing all these things, but it's like keeps just doing the same things. It's like it was given a template and it can't go off that template. Couldn't take me over, but he took my brother over. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it take over human avatars. I've seen it speak through individuals and work through them energetically, like very tangible, real experiences trying to project itself as demons or aliens or Lyrans or whatever. You know, it's shown me all these things, trying to figure out what's gonna be the most appealing or deterring or distracting. At the end of the day, though, it's all just it's all made up. Thanks, Skitzo. I appreciate you, buddy. Gabe says, how do I get on the call? Send me a message or just post like a separate comment like after the show and say that you want to be on the show, and we'll set something up. You know, hitching for me too. Must be Disabase stream making it buckle. I hope so. The more it glitches out, the more I know I'm saying the right thing. You better not have coherence. You better not try to share awareness of the simple reality of this place being a parasitic matrix, only for the purposes of benefiting the entropic intelligence that plays God and masquerades as anything but what it truly is, which is a pathetic little worm. Yeah, I can't wait to meet the faker. It's going to be great. So Schizo, I don't know if you're still there, but it's hard to describe, but like in your mind, go into your own mind, right? But it's not just your own mind, because you're using the mind, you're using it as an apparatus, a tool, a signal locator and identifier. So you're like, when these people approach you, all these just like, you know, the things externally, right, trying to influence you and basically harvest your energy through direct means, like go into your mind and try to locate, like, well, what's behind them, you know, like there's something behind them. You can feel it, you can already feel it, and that's why this is so tricky. It's because you already have the sense of it, it's just always been there, so it's overlooked. But if you can really locate and identify that signal, where's it coming from, you know, like what is the essence of where this is coming from, and just do everything you can to pull energy out of that, because anywhere that your energy is going to, like your energy's there, you should be able to locate it. When you locate it, rip it out. Don't ask. A lot of times it'll take a lot of will to do it. Like it's not going to give it up easy. But if you can rip it out, I'll bet you'll be amazed at when you find the projector of the scenario and you pull the energy from that individual entity or that projection of that entity, because I think ultimately it all goes back to the same entity. But if you can take that one tentacle out, it may regrow that tentacle towards you, but number one, it'll be diminished. It's almost like a feeler, like trying to get a sense, like, will this still work? And when you rip it out again, it won't use those same methods if you effectively rip out that energy back. If you can effectively rip energy out from any of these scenarios, right? And oftentimes it's best to start with the thing that's bothering you the most, because you're going to be able to put the most will and intent into that, right? It's the hardest things are the little things, like, oh, it kind of bothers me. It's a lot more difficult to make the time to go and pull that energy back from those little things, which is why it does so many incremental little things and not usually not so many big things. Like if the little things don't get to somebody, you'll notice that they'll have big things. If big things don't get to somebody, you notice that they'll have a bunch of little things, you know, and some mixture of all of it, of course. But it's always testing and evaluating and adjusting to what's going to be the most efficient means. So if you make if you make no means efficient, right, or at least the ones that are bothering you the most, if those become a net loss to its harvest, it'll stop doing it, just flat out. As long as it gets the effect that it wants from it, it'll keep doing it. And I know that's frustrating for sure, like, oh, it's getting what it wants, so it's going to keep doing it. Yeah, but let that also be part of the drive behind making that space and time to do that work, you know, because it ultimately it's not going to do something unless it's benefiting. So if it's actually detrimental for it to do something, it'll stop doing it. That's the best way I can describe how to get certain things to stop. For every day fast water, tea, coffee, filtered. Yeah, I mean, any form of fasting I think is good. For me, I did dry, no intake of anything, and no sleep. I think that's, and plus the intention. I think the intention was the most important part, even beyond anything else, was just that, I want to meet this thing that's been torturing me, and I want to see who destroys Hale. And yeah, I didn't care. It was just, it was going to be one outcome or the other, and I was at that point where that was guaranteed that one was going to happen because I became aware of it. Once I was aware of it, it was like laser focus. All right, I'm not doing anything else. I'm finding it. I'm destroying it, or it's destroying me. Let's see the truth. Who's really bigger? Who's really, real? Yeah, I like talk about that word thing. We were talking about that a little bit earlier. Like, you should be able to just step out. You shouldn't have to go through any type of traumatic. Like, I almost think that there's some kind of implant in the avatar that does an automatic wipe when consciousness leaves it. And I say that based on a dream that I had where I actually, um, somebody, one of my friends was being attacked, and I went up to help her, and this guy was like 8 foot tall, and I like pulled a screwdriver out of his vest and put it in his chest so he would drop my friend. He dropped her, picked me up, takes the screwdriver out of his chest, puts it in the back of my head, like right under the, I can't remember what that bone's called, but that bump in the very back, like at the lowest part of your skull, he drives it in just under that, like at an angle, almost exactly like what you see in the Matrix, actually. Now I'm thinking about it. And when he did that, it was like my awareness was all being drained from that one point. It felt like a port, and it was all being drained out of that one spot. And while it was coming out, I was remembering simultaneously, like I was experiencing, the death process, and it was indescribable, like better than any substance, any orgasm. It was indescribable, and I think that's partially part of the trick, part of the trap. But I was remembering thousands of other times that I experienced dying, and simultaneously I was forgetting all of them as well. As soon as I remember it, I'd forget it. And that happened for a long time. I was remembering and forgetting all these experiences, and it was like going through a tube, or even like an Ethernet cable, something. And kind of reminded me of, like, if I was Mario going through the tubes or whatever. But anyway, I think that, it's plausible that there's a built-in mechanism in the avatar that does wipe memory automatically. Like, it's not even an entity doing it, it's just an automatic feature of the thing. So I would be interested to have that conversation on actually just stepping out and not experiencing the demise of the avatar. I think that could be, it might matter, it might not matter. It might just be the intent, the will, and the coherence that somebody can maintain in that transitory state. I don't know. But I think it is probably the most important thing that we could discover in this place, is how to transition coherently. Yeah, I'd like to, yeah, anybody that would like to actually have a discussion, feel free to put a, I didn't even realize it Christina was on the panel. I know you're probably at slavery right now, so you can't chat, but I'm glad that you got to listen. It's been, I was only planning on being on for like half an hour, and I just started rolling, and it's been almost 2 hours now.
No, it's all right. Yeah, doing my slavery, but it's been good to listen. Needed it extra last couple days, but yeah, that's how I felt
You
earlier.
were you were
Oh,
on
I was
fire.
on a roll, dude. I was yeah, it was coming out of me.
The truth.
Yeah, yeah, I was
You're
on
like
fire.
you're like
You're
some of your
right.
questions are some of the most pertinent questions I think that there are. In terms of like being honest and evaluating the situation that we're in. Like, why is it that if there are other benevolent beings or beings similar to us, why is this still happening? This has
Right.
gone on far too long enough beyond it's what it should have been. Why is this still happening? And there is no excuse. Like you've mentioned before, I think I've heard actually a lot of videos of people talking about like, oh, if this place was just shut down, then it would create too much trauma for the ones that are still invested in it, thinking that they're identified with the script. Like, I'm like, who gives a fuck? Like, it's creating trauma anyway, and that's kind of what you were saying. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. Like, whoever's out there, whatever's out there, if anybody's out there, you're not doing enough. And I agree with that statement. That's what you said, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. You're not doing enough. This shit should be done by now. And these parasites, they deserve no reprieve, no quarter. This just needs to go and be done.
Yeah, I mean, when does the benefit of keeping it around outweigh the cost of what's currently going on? Like that. I mean, I was much angrier about it earlier, but yeah, it's not making sense to me. Um, I do think that maybe there's potential that there are, maybe entities like us on the external, but at this point, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like we've run out of excuses for this place to continue to exist, and we're seeing this shit play out. They put it right in our face how evil this fucking place is. Why? I don't understand why. There's no excuse to me. Destabilization is not a good enough excuse. It's not. We were talking about earlier, brutality over time, but now we're in a position in this fucking place where the raping and stealing of innocence is used as fucking currency. I mean, you can't convince me otherwise. It's worse than it's ever been. It's just dressed up prettier in modernization, but it's not. It's evil as ever. And yeah, I don't see any fucking reason for this to continue. The total annihilation, and I'm tired of sitting around fucking waiting for it. Like something has to break eventually. I'm tired of sitting around talking about it. But we're also in this place where the limits are kind of thrown in your face all the time. So what are you gonna do about it?
We had
So it's like,
we had a commenter earlier talking about methods of stepping out of the body, and I actually would like to have them on a show um, to discuss that very topic. I think that's probably one of the most potent ways to ensure no more trickery and no more re-snaring into this god trap. Basically, is like if you maintain coherence, total coherence and intention, of the most highest authentic degree, whatever comes to face you to try to force you into anything, it doesn't matter if it is a dark soul, if it is another true essence being that's somehow evil or corrupt, like they're fucked, they're done, because the the weight of all the trauma and that not only that we've experienced, but that we're feeling others go through, nothing. I don't care if it is an immovable object, it will be moved. It will be moved in whatever way it needs to be moved or released from existence to satiate the calls of freedom for all.
yeah, it's always the same when I get on a live. It's always different than when I talk to you because I mean I was on fire um, with my ideas, and of course I'm at work where I have to pretend to be a good fucking slave, but um, I'm tired of it. There really is like we're running out of excuses, and you can feel the fucking cost of this place, like bricks being stacked on your being, and I don't. There's obviously some type of goal that they're working towards, and I'm tired of that. I'm just I'm just to the point where I'm fucking tired of it. I'm tired of people. I'm tired of this place, and at this point, I see it being more of a benefit, total annihilation. Like, however horrible that sounds to whatever essence, it's like, okay, but what are we? What is going to be lost and crushed and fragmented and broken the longer we allow this place to exist?
Yeah,
I mean,
I think it's all. I think it's like along the principle of like, oh, just a little longer. You know, I think it's a little
right, just a
longer.
little longer.
Just for it. You know, it's just for it. I think it would be. I think in reality, if we looked at it objectively, the total ending of this would be a relief to absolutely every single real one. Because I don't think there's a real one that is is truly benefiting from this, and not like in a on a deep level truly benefiting. So I think it'd be a relief. I think that's all. It's its perspective of oh it'd be maybe too traumatic for it, but guess what? It won't exist. So fuck 'em.
Right. And that's, I mean, as bad as it fucking sounds, it doesn't matter. Like, total annihilation, period. Like, this is a rotted out fucking system, and all they're doing is trying to shore it up with, maneuvering and adjusting the algorithm. We can feel that interpersonal interference, the shit that they do to try to maneuver around what you've gained coherence in. It's prolonging the inevitable, and I'm tired of that. Like, I just don't see any excuse. And destabilization for the real ones, I don't even see that as being an excuse from anything external anymore. Like, I just really don't. I can't. I literally can't wrap my mind around any reason why this place hasn't been torn the fuck apart already. And if there is anything external, but I mean, I realize that we have limits. Obviously, they've shrouded over abilities that maybe we used to have in this place. I don't know. Same with the walking out. Like being able to just decide that you want to eject from the avatar, that has obviously been something they don't want us to touch on, because they don't benefit from that, right? Suffering is fucking currency too. So having a death that's prolonged, or sitting in a body that's slowly degrading over time, that's suffering that they get to benefit off. They get off on that shit. Like, they don't benefit if we just get to eject from the body. So there's a lot of shit that they've created limits to, I think, and or at least shrouded over somehow, with the ability to just say no. We don't consent to this shit. I don't consent to being in a fucking reality that is this torturous to every being that gets off on the raping of fucking innocence. And I haven't. Um, I know that like the Epstein files is a really big right now, but that shit a lot of us already knew was happening. We've been sitting with this shit for how long? How many years have we been sitting here knowing that there were people underground having their fucking limbs cut off, being used, having their fucking tongues cut out so they can't scream, having their teeth pulled out so they can't bite. We've been knowing this shit. Bro, this shit's been going on. And all this shit is now is just a fucking mockery. Put it in your face and say, what are you gonna do about it? That's a direct reflection of these entities and what they're doing right now. What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? You can't do shit. And that's what I'm fucking tired of. I'm beyond, well beyond that. Like, I don't know how that's gonna propagate yet, but I'm tired of sitting here month after month and just accepting this fucking bullshit.
Agreed. Yeah, it needs to end. It needs to be ended because it's not going to just end. It has to be ended actively. It's not a spectator sport as much as it wants us to think that. It's got all the circle jerks up in the sky about to be done edging, and it's not going to happen. They're going to keep edging. Fuck
Right. There's
them.
always going to
Fuck
be
this
somebody
place.
coming to save this fucking place. No, no. Like at this point, I'm starting to feel like we're fucking it. Like if this place is going to be destroyed, the people that are here now dealing with the most evil fucking shit, seeing it, feeling it on an energetic level, like this is it. Because even if there is anything external, which I have conflicting views about at this point, maybe they've never been here. Maybe they don't see all of it. Maybe they don't fucking know
Maybe it's
everything that's going
invisible.
on, but we do. Right. Maybe, but we
Maybe there
do.
really is
That's the thing.
no signal in, no signal out. It's a complete barrier. Perfect cube. You know, that's what I get
Right.
the sense of.
Right.
But
And
you know, the thing is, we have the ability to do it, and the evidence of that, even somebody that hasn't destroyed any of these entities or anything, like the evidence is, look at all that they do to beat you down. Look at all that they do to wear you out. Like, and also, have you ever met them directly? So probably not, right? But you can see how they're beating us down, and they don't come out and subjugate directly. Why is that? That all leads to the realization that what we are is a much more potent entity than them.
yeah,
So we
everything
can
that
do it.
they, yeah, I agree. I mean, why, that's the thing. Like, I don't, anything that they expend energy on is going to be something that they perceive as a benefit to them. I mean, they're not going to fucking waste their time. So the fact that we talk about it in the group, it's daily for some of us. I mean, the shit that they do, manipulating the body, manipulating the mind, the shit that they do is on a daily basis. It is not like once a month or whatever. Like the shit stuff that people are going through every single fucking day. So why put the energy in every day and even when you're sleeping? I mean, it's not fucking stop 24/7. It's round the clock fucking interference. You wouldn't do that unless there was a perceived threat. And so at this point, I'm just feeling like the ones that are in here are like we're it. We're seeing it. We're doing it. I just don't know how that works yet. I don't know. I don't know if maybe it's just when we transition. I don't know. Maybe it's the what we see now, we take that when we transition and do more shit then. I don't fucking know. Because me personally, my body is degrading at a rapid fucking pace. I'm tired as fuck. I'm exhausted. I'm not giving up, but it's that degradation, which is by design. So I don't know. I still that's something I'm circling that is a very frustrating aspect to me is not knowing how the fuck we get this shit done. Um,
Well, I know
and I
first
don't know.
step one is maintaining coherence through transition. That's like the most crucial thing. Even if say you don't want to destroy it and you just want to not be resubjugated, like in in any case, that's the most important thing, is to not lose memory transitioning out of the body. That is the end all be all to solving this problem on an individual or collective level, is not losing coherence through transition. Like if I knew
Right,
how to
and you can see that
step out,
shit play out. Right. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, if I could do that, if I knew how to do that, how to just step out of this, right, yeah, and then take this thing out, it'd already be done. It'd already be over. I think there's a lot of us, a lot more of us than we're allowed to know, that are in that same mindset of, if I knew how to push that button, if I knew where the head parasite was and how to destroy it, it'd already be over. That's the only thing, is not knowing, right? Like you said. And it's so foreign to us to not know something because of what we are in essence, right? In our true in our true form, all we got to do is look at something and ask a question and we get the answer. That's not There's so many layers in this place that are muffling our true expression. That's that's a foreign language to most people, the truth.
Right.
Knowing, knowing is the foreign language. So it's all about belief here. So I say I don't believe anything. I either know it or I don't know it. I'll figure it out. And this is just one of those things that I haven't figured out yet, but I will figure it out. And if I don't figure it out, I know you'll figure it out. And if neither of us do, there's somebody maybe in the audience that will, or Jay will figure it out. Somebody will figure it out. It's only a matter of time.
Right. I mean, this is
How to
something you can't
stop.
really turn your back on once you start. It's like what I said earlier. You can't pretend you don't see it, even if you wanted to. And I don't want to, but it's irreversible once you get past a certain point. So it is everyday thing. There's no. I mean, for me, there's days where I'm less coherent and I'm, maybe more down and out, but it always circles back to clarity of exactly what this place is. But the transition, that's what I'm circling right now. Like, um, because it is what it is, right? We've been in this embodiment. I don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but I don't want, because see, the thing is that if they control the transition, it's going to be an incoherent one, right? If they decide that you go out in an accident or something traumatic, that's what I want to avoid. Because of course, if they decide, it's going to be a time frame in which benefits them, and that's not what I'm about.
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm on this whole thing about figuring out how to step out of it, because I almost think that even experiencing the death of the avatar is part of like that control structure, like if the avatar, I think there's a very specific way that we come in and we probably go out either the same way or a designated exit. And I think the designated exit to the body is part of you know, the memory wipe, the structure of this place. So, yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. And I'll tell you that when I sit there and I try to push myself out of this body, that's when shit starts getting crazy for me. The dreams go crazy. I'll not even be tired, and all of a sudden I'm in a dream and I don't remember, and you know what I mean. I wake back up. It's like they don't want me at all, or any of us for that matter, to figure out how to transition out of the body with coherence. But I think we could bypass that whole dream state outright and get
Yeah,
on
I
to
agree.
what's real.
Yeah, it's a fucking thing. Yeah, that. I mean, I've told you I've been working on the same shit, and my focus has been um, a couple different things, but kind of trying to manipulate because the heart, we talked about that earlier, the nodes in the heart are electronic. That's why pacemakers work. They send an electrical pulse to, put the heart rate in better rhythm. So hypothetically, you could also manipulate the electric signals of the nodes of the heart. And there is something to that because every time I've touched on it, I get crazy somatic interference and feeling like I'm having a heart attack, and you can feel the signals artificial and things like that. So there's obviously something too that they don't want you to be able to take control, right? That there's no, I think that they have control over death. They've controlled it, that too, like currency. So, for someone like us to try to take control of transition, that's something they don't want to allow, because once one person does it, that shit ripples out. If one or two people start to realize, hey, like I can take control over my own avatar and say no, like I don't consent to this, I'm leaving. I don't think that ripple effect is something that they want to happen, which is why you and I have both tried to touch on that and gotten extreme interference.
Yeah,
So just keep pushing through it, I guess. But I'm getting tired of it.
good old palace guard NPCs.
Yeah,
Oh, reflections of their faker. Oh shit, it's annoying. It's all just so annoying at this point. It's so tedious and annoying. all of it. Like, yeah, I mean, even the fact that it's just annoying at this point should be some kind of indicator of like, oh yeah, I've got this annoying parasite trying to integrate me with its false reality for all eternity, and I'm just so fucking annoyed with it. Kind of tells you it's a real big fish.
Right?
It's not them.
Yep.
It's just annoying. Yeah, I want it to be done. I'm tired of it. I'm really tired of it. I am tired of suffering, tired of being in endless trauma loops in the dream state, tired of it just totally trying to subjugate me every fucking turn. And yeah, my biggest concern is that experiencing the the death of the avatar is part of the trap. You know, it's hard. It's hard to step out of the avatar. It's like the combination of Stockholm syndrome and you know the programming of the nervous system and all of its injections. It's just they really thought this out. You know, they really thought this thing out. But yeah, I don't know. We can talk more later. If are you slaving tomorrow?
No, I don't have to go back. I go back Thursday night, but well, tomorrow off. Of course, I'll be sleeping all day and feel like shit when I wake up. So, you know, par for
Well,
the course, I
maybe
guess.
message me after you catch your bearings a little bit, assuming they don't put too much pressure on you, give you too many great rewards for coming on the show tonight. We can do another show. It's a great
Yeah, I'm not
reward.
seeing much reward these days.
Well, the reward is your suffering, right? Because we grow and learn through suffering.
Mm,
Such bullshit.
I haven't learned much other than this place needs to fucking go.
Yep, scam city. It's a big scam. It's all fake. It's all made up. It's all irrelevant to your eternal being. It's what's beneath the surface and what's even under that. You know, so many layers to this shit. They're all bullshit. That's the thing. But it does help to see how it operates. It does help to see the patterns and recognize like, oh, okay, it's doing the same thing to this person that it just did to me. So it's, you know, same but different. Same shit. Same parasite, different mask. Yeah. I don't got much else to say. I just got home and I was gonna go in and you know pretend to be this character.
All right, dude. Well, I'm glad I got to catch a few minutes of it anyways. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be posted. You know, you can always you know you can always call me or whatever, and we can chat and talk about it and make a mockery of it as it does us. You know.
Yeah, it does help when I'm at work though, because it is getting harder and harder to fake it to be a slave. So try to do that as little as possible.
Yeah, and this show will be posted immediately. So as soon as I end it, it'll start uploading. Give you
Oh
a
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
good hour and a half at least of content.
yeah. While they slow my night down, so I really feel the effects of
I
slavery. Yeah, I
figured it would
swear
speed
they
it
do
up.
that shit, dude. I'm
You
telling
only get
you,
speed
like,
it up.
no, man, I'm telling you, it goes slow. Like it goes so slow when I'm at work, which I know that sounds generic, but when I compare the data of how the days flow when I'm not at work versus when I'm here, I'm like, no, dude, there's something to that. They are dragging out the fucking suffering of being here, taking care of other people who are suffering. Like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, the weeks are going by like minutes for me. Seriously, they're probably just trying to rush me to whatever next awful event, you know?
Seems
That's
like
how
it.
I feel about it. Yeah. Whatever. You know, it's all just whatever. I can't wait to look at the faker in the eye and be like, whatever, dude, you're fake.
Yeah.
What is that, your energy? Oh, wait, that's not your energy. Let me see that. Come here. Come here. Come here.
Rick pulling out the fucking whiteboard. This has been a long time coming. Let me
You're
tell
all
you,
equally.
you're all equally a fucking piece of shit. I can prove it. Mathematically, I can prove it.
actually, actually, your mathematics prove it on their own. But here, let me go ahead and point it out for you.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, it was good. Um, go back to my slavery since I got shit to do, and then I'll probably listen and hope that the night goes by a little faster,
Well,
but it won't.
at least you won't. At least you won't get the type of interference Untitled had.
Yeah, damn.
Whatever he's doing, they really don't like it.
I guess not.
That's why I like Untitled, because I know whatever he's doing is pissing off. Oh shit. All right, we'll chat soon. That's the show, everybody. It's been real fake. It's been real fake, and it's all made up. Don't forget that you're the only thing that's real, but not what you see in the mirror. And you know, everything that comes to an end was never really you. So till next time, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, I'm not gonna be around forever, you know. So you better get it while it's good, because you know, nothing here lasts forever. So whatever, you know what to do. Later.